Hi, I'm Dean Mannheimer. It's a pleasure for me to be able to share some information with you that I consider to be probably the most life-changing, altering concept that you can really come across. What I want you to do is I want you to think about history. Think about the timeline in history. And every now and then, a certain company will come along that's what we call a game changer. If you look at companies like iTunes, Amazon, eBay, Apple, Microsoft, these are all companies that are game changer companies that when they entered the marketplace, they went through a formulation time. They went through a time that was tough. But these are companies that were innovative. They were companies that created something that didn't exist at the time. Now, if you look at those companies and their history, and I would recommend that people really do that, and you see what they went through their first couple of years. You take, for example, Google. Google was founded by two partners. And the amazing story about these guys is they couldn't agree on anything. They fought over everything, and they were trying to put together a concept that there was going to be a search concept. And actually, when they launched, the first name that Google had was a company called Backrub, and then they evolved it into Google. But they went through some difficult times, and Google was founded during the time that the internet was just coming into its own. People really didn't know what the internet was or what use it was. And then here's a company by two guys that couldn't get along that were introducing a company that was a search engine, which nobody knew what a search engine was for, to be used on the internet, which they didn't know what the internet was for, and they were trying to raise some money to get it funded. Well, ultimately they accomplished the goal. So, and we see where they're at today. You look at Amazon. When Amazon got started, they were a bookseller, just a bookseller, not a very good one. And they went through some really tough times their first couple of years. Ultimately, they've expanded their lines, expanded their products, became much more efficient at what they did, and look where they're at today on an international basis. You've got eBay. Now eBay, when they got started, lost so much money that the financial experts said that there is no physical way they could possibly earn enough money to offset the losses they incurred. Well, obviously those financial experts weren't correct, so we see where they're at today. iTunes, when iTunes launched. iTunes was a limited library. And people in those days, those of you that are old enough to remember, had these little pocket radios, AM, FM radios that they carried around, and they kept saying, who's going to download music, which they wasn't exactly sure what a download was, on the devices they didn't know what were, when everything is free? Well, again, iTunes expanded their library, now they do videos and everything else. They're a huge international company. But again, they went through a difficult time their first several years in business. So I say all of that to say this. DubLi, which has been in formulation for many, many years, is now at a point and has moved a business model into the marketplace that is innovative, historic, and is going to change the dynamics of the public forever. You see, what DubLi has done is they took what iTunes did, what Google did, what Amazon did, what eBay did, and they put it all together under one roof across all country boundaries, because they're now operational in 230 countries, and currencies. But here's what I want you to understand, and to me this is the most important piece of the message I want to deliver to you. When you look at their shopping mall, there's lots of shopping malls out there today. Some of them are out of the traditional business world, and some of them are out of the network marketing world. If you look at their, what they call the fun shopping, their auctions, there's lots of auctions out there today. Some of them out of the traditional business world, some of them out of the network marketing world. If you look at the entertainment that they have today, which is streaming, there's lots of companies in the entertainment division, the entertainment world. But there isn't one company that has put it all under one roof across those boundaries. But here's the best news. DubLi is none of the above. They're not an auction house, they're not a shopping mall, and they're not an entertainment company. If you understand the end game, DubLi is building the world's largest online global community, transactionally driven. Now, we know that everything people do today in the brick and mortar world, from banking, education, insurance, you name it, they will do or already are doing online. But they're going to do it through communities. And we know that the communities will be the place that they go because they're going to trust their community, trust people, brings loyalty, brings them the things that they want versus going direct to the same source and dealing with a salesperson. DubLi is the first company to create this community. So as we roll more and more out, every time we bring another, what we call value-based proposition to the consumer, this is where it'll be. So if you keep that in mind, you'll understand the end game for DubLi. Take advantage of it, because this is historic, and you're in the right place at the right time with the right company.